Hey everybody, it's your girl Malika Anderson back at you again for Love Your Damn Self podcast. I'm so excited to be with you today. And this is just a podcast where we talk about self-love, healing, and real talk, where I share all of my real life stories, raw, transparent, to help you understand how to love your damn self. So today we're just going to get right in it. Our episode today is entitled Sick and Tired of Not Taking Your Own Advice. Now let me rephrase that. Sick and tired of women not taking their own advice. If you are one of those women today, you definitely need to hear what I got to say. I want you to hear this. Now, I'm just going to get right into it. Sometimes I like to just make my point and then get into my story, but I want to talk about this today. This is all about a girl I knew in high school, okay? So here we go. Gather around for story time, girls and ladies, and I know some of y'all guys just sneaking in here too. But I was just thinking about, how you got to keep that same energy. All right. When we talk about sick and tired of women not taking their own advice, women are so fast to give advice and counsel and love and nurturing to everyone else. We give it to everybody else before we give it to ourselves. So listen, there's this girl I've known, right? I've known her for a very long time. I'm not going to say we were friends. We were friendly in high school. I knew her. We grew up together all through actually elementary, grade school, and in high school, right? And to be quite honest with you, now don't get offended by what I'm saying, and it could be any girl. So if any of y'all went to school with me, please do not take this as an attack. But this girl has always been overweight. Like she's always been overweight. She's overweight now to this day. And now I don't like to say she struggles. I can't really say she struggles with her weight. I can't make any assumptions about any of that. I could just say she's overweight. I don't know if it's a struggle for her or not, or if she sees it like that. However, what I do know is that every time I see her post on some type of social media or something, and it's very good. It's always uplifting and encouraging, and she's always talking to other people and giving them this great advice. And I think that's wonderful. And many times I've told this sister, yo, you need to take your gift to the next level. You could write a book. You could do so many things. And I see her give to everybody and talk about giving to everybody, mostly her kids and her immediate family, because there is multiple children in this woman's family. But my question to that is like, how you going to be giving everybody else all this beautiful and wonderful advice, and yet, and I know this for a fact, this is not assumption, there are things that are going on that I believe that are blocking her energy from her really dealing with the self-esteem issues that she has, that quite frankly attribute to the weight issue that she has. A lot of that type of stuff without going in to further detail. So you can give and you can pour into everybody else's life, but do you take that same encouragement and pour it into your own life? This is what I'm wondering, and this is what I'm talking to the lady about in order for you to get results. Because I believe if you took that same encouragement and favor and fervor and poured it into your own life every day, maybe you could encourage yourself. Maybe you could motivate yourself to change your lifestyle and fight obesity. I know that may seem tough, right? But that's what I do. I give tough love to people. And that's why they come to me and they trust me and they seek me out for counsel. Now, again, I'm in no way, shape, or form tearing down this woman. I think she's a beautiful woman. I'm just telling you how we have to begin to apply the very things that we talk about, especially in the area of ourselves as women. We got to keep that same energy for ourselves. And that's why I'm particularly sick and tired of women not taking their own advice. We got advice for everybody, myself included. I'm not excluded, from A to Z, but very rarely do we apply it to our own lives. So I'll conclude to myself in terms of this story with this particular woman that although she says she loves herself, there is some area in her life, obviously, where she may or may not struggle with her weight, but I can surely conclude from looking at her and talking to her that she might want to apply some of that same advice that she gives to others to herself. Now, one thing that I always say is you have to speak your truth, your own truth. Then you have to live your truth. And then you have to be your truth. If you're speaking of truth and you're not living it and you're not being it, how true is it really? That part. I'm going to say that again. You have to speak your truth, live your truth, and be your truth. And if you're speaking of a truth and you're speaking the truth and you're not living it and you're not being it, how true is it really? And I know this is so hard as women, because we are so dedicated as women, first to putting everybody else first before ourselves and taking care of everybody else. But at the deepest level, this is still about a disconnection from our self-love. And I want you to think about that today as you're listening to this. Can you be disconnected from self-love by always giving to others, pouring into others, doing things, others. And I believe for me personally, it was definitely a disconnection from my self-love, because by me pouring into others and doing things for others, consciously or not unconsciously, it was deflecting from what I needed to do for myself. That's one of my greatest life's lessons, a test that comes over and over and over again for me. And I'm always like, dang, why am I always ending up in this particular space, right? It's because it's very easy, especially if you're an empath, if you're a counselor, if you're a giver, if you're a nurturer, if you're, a therapist, in that type of field, if you're a teacher and you're always doing things or giving out to others, it's very easily to deflect from what you need to do from yourself. It's very easy to disconnect yourself from the self-love that you really need, because we do not really understand that there can be no true love to anyone else unless we first love ourselves. Now, let's take that story of the high school lady that I went to school with, of that woman that I just took about, and let's flip that around. And let's talk about, because I'm all about practical application, right? Y'all who are just getting to know me will know that. I believe we talk a lot about, what do I always say, the beginning. And we talk a lot about the end, meaning the painful parts in the beginning, and then the victory, getting over the painful parts. But very rarely do I see a lot of people talk about the middle, the process, the how-to. And I'm a how-to girl. I like to talk about practical application, where anything that we talk about, you could take when you get off of this podcast and you could apply it to your life immediately. So let's just say that this woman X, let's just call her woman X. Woman X took the information, 365 days, she's on there giving this beautiful information to others. If she flipped that around and for 365 days, she crossed off dear others and put dear woman X to herself. Imagine how much her life would change. Imagine how much her life could change, that she could change her life and she could motivate herself and encourage herself, perhaps to lose, let's just say, even 20 pounds. That would make a big difference in her life. That would make her a better person, possibly feel better about herself, self-esteem, and that she would have more days that she could pour into the things that she loved and the people that she loved, all of her beautiful children included. That's just a simple trick that you could do. And that's a simple trick that she could do if she's listening, to tweak something in her life to make a big impact in her life and to connect back to the self-love that she is worthy of. Right? We love to say that we love ourselves and we feel so great about ourselves and we're the ish and, all of that. But there's no greater love than the love that we can give ourselves. And all that bullshit that we say is really not the truth. But the truth is we are as disconnected from love as flour is to peanut butter. Now, I know you could probably put some peanut butter in some flour, but it really don't go together. You need other ingredients to make it something. You can't just have like peanut butter flavored flour. It wouldn't taste right. There's some other things that it's missing. So it's likely that, like I said, those two don't really go together. So we have to get real about the things in our life that don't go together. And we have to get real about where we are, having awareness, like we talked about last week, that awareness. We have to have knowledge, and we have to do our own soul work. Starting the process to do your work, to identifying the problem, and then putting it into practice, putting your soul work into practice. Listening to this podcast could be bringing a level of awareness to your life, bringing some knowledge into your life, some education and information, and certainly entertainment, because I could be real entertainment. I could be a pure damn D fool. You know that, right? I'm not being that today, but I can be that. We can act up and I can go in. But see, I'm just being a nice Malika today. But anyway, putting that into practice in your life. And one thing that I've been really thinking a lot about concerning this topic of loving your damn self is, like I just talked about, the start, which is the painful place. And then we talk about the end, which is the victory and being on the other side of it. But that application, I really want us to get to that application so we can go through the middle of the process and do the things that we need to do to apply the things that we need to apply so that we can get to the other side of it, the victorious place of it. That's always been my forte, and that's always been the thing that I've loved to help people with and to help women with, right? That practical application. So feel free to ask me questions, to make comments, to write in to the show. I'm sure there's a place wherever you are listening to, on whatever platform you're listening to. It's the how-to, the know-how, the self-help, and the self-love. That should be where we want to get to, right? And if you can't tell me, I'm the type of person, if you can't tell me how to do it, then I don't know if I'm going to be doing a whole lot of listening to you. You give me advice all day long, but how the hell do I do it? How do I accomplish all this great and wonderful stuff that you're talking about? And I just never wanted to be that woman. I never wanted people to go away like feeling like they lost brain cells. Listen to me, like, what the hell is she talking about, and how the hell do we do it? So I try to help women with that. That's what we do over here. So we'll be doing a lot of talk about the self-application and practicing self-love. And I just hope, just through my little short story today about the girl that I went to high school with that does not take her own advice and is not taking her own advice, and how I am sick and tired of women not taking their own advice, because it's beautiful, loving, caring, motivating advice. It helps a lot of other people, but we have to stop helping ourselves too, right? So I hope that I hope that this little short story of our sister, right? Because we're all sisters. You can see a little bit of practical application. And if she is listening, sweetheart, if you just took one little thing to tweak in your life to give yourself that motivation and encouragement and uplifting that you give to others, and you flip it around and you put your name on top, I wonder how much more you would motivate yourself in that area. And again, I'm not tearing anyone down. That's not our purpose over here. We don't tear women down. We lift women up. However, we have to be true. That's why it's called Real Talk with Malika. That's why it's called Healing with Malika, so that we can begin to heal ourselves properly. Healing is not a destination. It is a journey. So I hope, as you heard on our episode today, the disconnection that we have is right there within ourselves. And it's right there mostly in front of ourselves. We have been disconnected from self-love for so long. And I hope that you can see where I demonstrated for you today how you are disconnected, but how you can connect back into your self-love by just doing simple things. It's not always a big bang. It's not always you waiting for somebody to tell you something extraordinary or doing something extraordinary with a lot of noise and firecrackers and extra shit and all of that. But it's just simply when you tap into the very being of who you are. That's nothing extra. That's just the core of who you are, that you understand what's needed for you and you begin to do those things for yourself. Self-love is a part of who you are. Loving your damn self is a part of who you are. I want you ladies to continue loving your damn self. I want you to continue to honor yourselves. I thank you and I love you and I honor you for being all here today. It is my absolute pleasure to serve you in this way, and it's just a little 20-30 minutes that we spend together now. Y'all gonna be so surprised because y'all know I can go and go and go, but I've been trying to keep it to like 20-25 minutes. But I'm so proud of each and every one of you. No matter where you are today in life, you may feel like, Malika, that's all good and wonderful, but I do that constantly and I don't know how to stop. Like I said, I was one of those people too, because I was such a giver and it was my profession, but I didn't understand that I was constantly disconnecting from my own power and my own self-love by actually pouring into others as much as I was. Because what was happening was, well, when I went to get back, it's like putting all your money in the bank, right? And then you go back one day and you like, I want to make a $500 withdrawal. And the teller at the bank is like, you ain't got no money in here. You like, what? I've been putting money in here every week. I've been putting money in here every week. That's what it feels like when you have constantly been expending everything that you have to others. And then you notice, wait, shit is not right in my life. Or maybe like the woman, damn, I'm overweight. Damn, this might be going on in my life or that might be going on in your life. Is your information that you're giving to everyone else working for yourself? Are you really living your truth? Are you really being your truth? Or are you just saying words? Are the words applying to your life? I always say before you teach anything, and not that you can't teach anything without flaws in your life or shit that's going wrong in your life, but you just got to really be about it. You got to make sure it's working for you at the same time. You got to drink the same medicine that you are prescribing and giving to others. You got to use it for yourself. And it can't be making you sick and you trying to make me well. It's got to be making us better simultaneously at the same time. So take a little bit of your own medicine, apply a little bit of what you're saying to yourself, and let's see if areas in your life, begin to change. A lot of the messages that I give out to women now at this particular stage of my life are things that I've gone through, things that I've lived through, things that I've already experienced, the knowledge and the information and the education that I already have. So now I can come back and I can say, okay, this is how it worked for me. This is how it didn't work for me. These are things you might want to try. This is what I'm still going through. There's no shame in my game. I'm always speaking my truth. I'm never ashamed of my truth, no matter what it is. I'm speaking my truth. I'm living my truth, and I'm being my truth. And I encourage you all to do the same. And it's all love. Again, we don't tear women down on this platform or no platform that I have. It's all about lifting up humanity and lifting up women and helping you to understand about self-love. And how do you understand about self-love? You got to love your damn self. So until the next time, I love you and I'll talk to you later. I don't want to forget though. I need y'all to follow me. Okay, we are a brand new podcast and our podcast is on many different platforms, and I'll be putting out some of those platforms for you guys: Stitcher and Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts and some of the other ones that I don't even know the names of them. It's about 10 or so, but you'll see all of our information on social media. So the best place I would say to follow me would be on Instagram. And my Instagram handle is Real Talk with Malika. RealTalk. Withh, and Malika is Malika. Real Talk with Malika. And then you can just follow me on Facebook at Malika L. Anderson. And you can also follow me on Twitter at Real Talk Malika. Now, I don't post on Twitter. I'm not going to lie. So everything that's on my Facebook, I think it automatically goes to Twitter. I just do not have the time to do that right now. If you want to catch me, you need to catch me in the DMs, messenger me, and on Instagram. Okay, so again, I love you all. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back next week.